that men and women in prisons don't have access to higher education. Institutions we create that are supposed to teach lessons are constantly pushing our men and women back a couple of steps. I'm not fully understanding why, and I don't need a reason, but higher education in prisons is beyond needed. Because we sure have hella institutions to punish them, but I'm having a hard time finding the institutions and programs that would help better them. And when I mention them, I'm referring to inmates, but I'm also considering the inmates with learning disabilities, mental illness, and the inmates who have problems within themselves that need to be addressed and worked on. Because the educational programs they do provide in prison, they don't consider inmates like them. They don't think about inmates who are different. Prisons offer GED programs that think an inmate will be set. But you tell me how far you think an adult with a fresh out of prison with a high school diploma would get. You see, we can only imagine how hard it is after prison and how complex it is for an individual re-entering the community. We don't know how hard it is for them to make it and survive, but yet we want them to fend for themselves and hope to get a job, knowing that all they have to offer is their past and their prison life. And I'm pretty sure for that we blame society, but we must constantly forget that we are a society. Why don't we think they deserve more? How about we offer more than a high school education and work to put inmates on a college level? Let's put them 2 steps ahead of every other inmate who has re-entered the community with a prison education, but somehow still find themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Is this your class?
I believe we should start to help them and give some direction. And instead of criticism, how about some correction? How long is it going to take before we realize that having an individual leave out the same way they came in won't change a thing? Higher education in prison needs to be a priority. So when you begin to question whether or not higher education should be provided in prison, or when you begin to consider taking away benefits to even afford a higher education in prison, please make sure you remember that recidivism rates are very beneficial to society, and a college-educated prisoner has a great capacity to function within the social context. Also know that those who participate in educational programs are 29% less likely to return to prison within 3 years than those who haven't. Better yet, be sure to know that 40% of all state prisons are unable to read. And research estimates that 30 to 50% of incarcerated have learning disabilities. But most importantly, let's make sure that when we provide higher education in prison, we provide it for all. We shouldn't have to worry about recidivism rates because we should know that our punishment will change them for the better. We should have provided enough programs to make sure that they only have room for improvement. The moment they step out of prison, it shouldn't be a problem. They should have a better, positive outlook and better things to follow. Let's help them be somebody before they say they need somebody.